So I wanted to film my unboxing of Heroscape Age of Annihilation Wave 1. This right here is everything that's been released so far. So we've got Battle for the Wellspring, the Age of Annihilation Master Set, the Grove at Lore's Edge, the Sergeant Drake promo, and the Shiori promo. There's a bunch of these unboxings up on YouTube already, so you're probably not going to see anything that you haven't seen before or heard before, but just since I didn't film my unboxing of the original ones, I wanted to have a record for my own sakes of what's in here, the quality that I see, what I think of this, and I'm going to try to be more positive than I was in my previous video about the 24 hex, since in the grand scope of this whole release, that is a pretty minor issue, although it is still an issue and I would like to see it fixed. But anyways, moving on from there. The first thing that we'll show off here is Sergeant Drake, and this one actually has already been opened, so I'll just show you everything that comes with it. And that is the Sergeant Drake miniature. And yes, mine does have the same issue that everybody else has had, where the face is not painted skin color. It's just like the gray primer color. So a little disappointing, but that shouldn't take too long to touch up once I get my paints out. And then you also get the card with that, of course. Looks good. And then next up we have Shiori. And this one right here, currently I think is a Gen Con exclusive. Eventually Renegade has said that they're going to make it available to everyone later on their website. I just went ahead and purchased this so that I could have everything. I'm kind of a sucker for completionist. So that is the box. And then here is the figure, and this is a really cool sculpt. I quite like this figure. Again, as with most of these things, you'll find that the paint job is a little flat, but I think that this one's painted well. The details look good. There's not a lot of paint spill from what I'm seeing, and it's just a really cool sculpt, so I like this one a lot. Here is the card, and there's the back. Next up here is the Grove at Lore's Edge expansion pack. This is a remake of the Takala Jungle, although notably it is missing the jungle spiders, and it has an MSRP of $50. So in my opinion, that's pretty steep for 9 plastic trees. On top of that, I'm sure everybody has heard that it has the mold issue with the base where they don't perfectly lock onto the hexes below them. So, people have varying opinions on this. For me, that is a deal breaker just because it's so expensive for 9 plastic trees. I want to, send these back, get my money back, wait until they fix it, and then I'll buy them again. So for these right here, I do have the one that I had opened, and I mean, there's nothing special in here as far as what we'll see these trees in the Battle for the Wellspring, and those ones I did fix at home just because, 2 trees versus having to fix the entire terrain expansion is different in my opinion. So I'm keeping the Wellspring box. And in fact, I don't think they've released a statement on those trees. I imagine that they'll do the same thing where if you send it back, you can get a refund. But for me personally, that's not enough of a deal breaker in light of that entire package. But for the terrain expansion specifically, yeah, I don't want to keep these while they're, have that issue. But it is good that they did, tell us that they'll take these back. Even if they're open, they're paying shipping. Covering all the fees and all that, so that's good of them. I'm glad that they, finally gave us that statement to tell us that they would do that. So I'll get my money back on those, and that's fine. And we'll move in a little closer to take a better look at the Battle for the Wellspring. This will be our first actual unboxing since this is sealed. This is the premium painted edition. This sticker is on the outside of the wrapper, so when you take this off, it's not, plastered directly onto the box, which I do like. That's good. This one right here retails for, I think it was $45 unpainted, and then $65 painted, I want to say. So here's the back. This is just a good introductory, 30 to 60 minute, like it says here, introductory game for 2 players. This is a great way to introduce somebody to Heroscape, in my opinion. This is a good little product here, especially the unpainted for $45. That's a good price point for the amount of terrain and miniatures and play value that you get in this box. So let's go ahead and open it up. It's got a little tab on this side, so I'll just try to carefully cut it in here. Perfect. Pretty easy to get into. Not gonna damage anything. All right. Opens just like that. Has a tray on the inside where it slides out. And there we have it. So this is what we get in the top layer of the box. You have your 2 trees, your 6 pre-painted miniatures, a bunch of terrain, all the water tiles, and then the other accessories and larger tiles are underneath. So let's check out these trees first. These are some pretty good jungle trees. I like these a good bit. Let's see the fitment on these, since I have had varying fitments on these. That holds pretty tight. I like that. So this is one of the better trees that I've had. Now this right here is the issue that you've probably seen many times before, where these inner walls right here are too thick. And so I'll just show you real quick. This was my other Wellspring box, and you can probably see there what I did is I just took a Dremel to each of these inner edges. You got to do all 6 if you want to get a perfect fit. And just kind of trim that inner wall down. Bit of a pain. Once you know the thickness and you know how to handle these without destroying them, it's not too difficult. But again, I didn't want to spend this amount of time on 18 trees for both of my boxes there. I'd rather just send it back and wait until they get that fixed so that I don't have to do that myself, since paying $50 for 90 trees and having to do that feels bad in my opinion. So here's the other tree. That also feels really good. So that one does come out easily, but it's held in there, so good deal. Yeah, so I'll Dremel these ones, since again 2 trees, I'm okay with doing that in light of everything else that's in this package. All right, so here's our first miniature, Iwashia. And this one, honestly, this looks pretty good. Just like the paint job on my other one, the gold is very nicely applied. I'm not seeing really any spillage on that gold. The blues, they actually might look a little more textured than the one that I had in my other box. The other one that I got was looking a little flat. This one does look pretty good. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Like the little highlights on the face. This, the paint jobs are pretty all over the place from what I've seen. In my opinion, the ones that I've looked at, and I can only speak from my own experience, look pretty good, or at least acceptable for the price that you're paying, which is, you know, like $5 for $4 a mini, which even for a mini of this size, that's, in my opinion, worth it versus commissioning somebody to do it. So next up we have Bach Bernard, or Bach Berno, however you Bo Burnham. This one is one that I definitely take issue with the most, just because he doesn't have any sort of red wash to make him look like a Maro. He's got this almost like sickly green or yellowish hue. And since I'm in warm lighting now, it doesn't really show that well. But he's a lot lighter than he should be for a Maro. I think he really does just need like a red wash, and I'll probably get that on him when I'm touching up Drake as well. But the figure itself, the sculpt is good. The color choicing is good. I like the tie to the Maro dredge. So overall, a good figure, but I think he just needs some help with that wash there. Then we have Fiabani, Void Siren. This character's got some really good detailing. And again, I don't know, maybe this isn't showing up the best. Let me try to, there we go. A little bit lighter there. This one also, I think, has some really good detailing. People were saying that it looked like too yellow on their hood. To me, that looks like orange on the top, which gradually fades into yellow and then fades back out into black. To me, that looks real good. Again, I don't really see any spillage on, you know, like any of the edges here. This is actually a pretty nice paint job, in my opinion. I'm very, you know, satisfied with this for the price. So yeah, for a second I thought that was spillage, but no, that's her shoulder pad, so that's supposed to be silver, so yeah, it's looking good. Happy with that one for sure. Next up we have Anshu. This guy is really cool. He's like a Spirited Away type creature. And again, his paint job's a little simpler, but they did actually give him like a decent wash here. You can see like darker wash or like highlights, or I guess that would be shadows, like underneath his wings there. So he's not just like a full, you know, single shade of brown on here. Like he's got some, you know, some shading. He's also got some details on the front. This one's a little simpler, but it does still look good in my opinion. Then we have Kita. And this one, again, pretty simplistic, but you've got some nice gold highlights up front, along with the painted antlers there. Another simple but good looking figure. Also happy with this one. Last up we have Killian Vane, I think. Another humanoid figure. Again, to me, this looks very on par with original Heroscape. I'm very happy with the paint quality on this. I mean, even something as kind of intricate as this little tube here going back down to his back. Yeah, that's some good painting right there, in my opinion. So, overall, the only thing that I would say needs touching up in this box is Bachburna. Maybe that's something that they're still working on. I hope so, because I do think that that's an area of improvement. But other than that, the rest of these figures are very good sculpts, very good painting. Yeah, happy with them. So let's take a look at the terrain. And first up here we have our 3 hexes and 7 hexes and 1 hexes. So this kit actually doesn't come with any 2 hexes, which is a little strange, but I guess they just didn't think it was necessary for this setup here. They're kind of hard to get out just because there's not like a good way to bend the plastic to get in there. I guess if I pull the whole thing out I could get to them, but just try to do it this way. So in here we've got 5 7 hexes, 3 are green, 2 are rock, or grass or rock, whatever. And then we've got same thing here, so 3 green, 3 hexes, 2 rock, green, wow, can't speak. 3 green, 3 hexes, and 2 rock, 3 hexes. And then for single hexes, we've got 4 grass, 2 rock. And then we've got our Wellspring water and our regular water over here. Wellspring water is another one that I was seeing a lot of varied opinions online. It definitely is pretty loosely kind of reflective there. It does have like some light sparkles baked into the plastic. I would consider this like a satin color, in the language that Lego used to describe this color is how I would visualize that there. I do think it could use some help. I've seen people do some really cool modifications where you put like a more pearlescent paint on the underside. It looks nice. I might do that. But honestly, you can tell these apart compared to ice, so it's really not that bad in my opinion. Here we have our sparkly water, and this set comes with 6 of them, although 3 of them are actually for Awashia, so really it comes with 3 that you can place on the terrain, and the other 3 get placed during the scenario play. These ones right here, these are definitely like the highest praise in my opinion for the terrain recreation. These are almost visually identical to original sparkly water. I like these a lot. The plasticity feels good, like there's a good amount of give there. It doesn't feel like it's going to get brittle with age. They're not quite as rubbery as the original ones, but honestly, these are such a nice recreation. I cannot complain. So, like these a lot. Good win with that Renegade. So then under here, we have the accessories. We have 6 of the standard 2nd edition dice from Rise of the Valkyrie and onwards, and then a D20. This is standard fare for Heroscape. Honestly, I feel like they could have given us 8 of these dice, and it's especially weird that in the Master Set, I think they only gave us 8 instead of the standard 12 for a full-size Master Set. Again, I feel like these can't be that expensive, so I don't think there's really any scenarios that you would need more than 6 at one time, but it's nice to be able to split them in half, and each person gets 4, each person gets 6, and you're not having to pass so many back and forth each time or each turn, whatever. But minor nitpick. Here is the wound markers, the black powder markers for Killian, and then a glyph of Brandar for scenario play. And then we've got our round markers. These are purple, which is the color from the Dungeons and Dragons set, so those look good. I really like that deep purple. And then we've got our dreaded 24 hexes. So this will be good, actually. We can take a fresh look at some new 24 hexes before I've connected them and see what we think about that fitment issue that I was having on the other ones. So first off, I guess we'll just start looking for any stress lines. Hello, there we go. So obviously, since these haven't been connected yet, I wouldn't expect to see anything here, and I'm not seeing anything yet. So we'll just go ahead and connect these now, just to see how it feels. So, oh man. Yeah, that is bad. That is... I remember why I don't like these so much. Oh, that's just way too stiff to put two pieces together. Let's see. So we can already see right on the edges there where it's fighting against the other pieces. And this is the exact same point where we were seeing pretty significant wear on the other ones in the video I made. So at least from what I've tested so far of the new stuff, it is very much an issue. And I've at least been informed that Renegade has watched my videos. It's up to them what they do with that next, I guess. Again, I don't want to harp on this too much because in light of the rest of the release, this is fairly minor because these do get broken in a little bit more and they are usable, but in my opinion, it's still an unacceptable quality to put out when this problem does not need to exist if you have better, better initial mold and better tolerances at the factory. So I do want to keep encouraging them to improve that mold, since everything that I've seen shows that this is just commonplace for the current stuff. So, yep. And then let's test the fitment on these ones. Again, these are a little tight, but not too bad. Definitely not as bad as the 24 hexes. So, good new Heroscape tiles. Nice to have those back. Lastly, here we have the cards. Again, another thing that people have varying opinions on is the graphic design of the cards. They are a little flat, but that's just more modern design philosophy. It goes with the more simplistic type style. The minimalism has been in for the past, 10, 15 years or so. So it's not too surprising to me that Heroscape came back in this form factor. The one thing that doesn't make it any sense at all is the fact that this box is so small, and then there's just all this dead space underneath it when the old ones didn't do that. And since they're not using this dead space for anything, like, why not just make this box bigger? So yeah, that one's weird. Like, I kind of get it for this, but you could do some tricks with the text to make that fit if it came down, out to about here. So, but overall the cards are fine. They're functional. They don't look as bad as they did in renders, so I'm okay with them. I'll definitely be using these. Then we have the, oh wow, I just noticed that. Damaged rule book right out of the box. Not great, not horrible, but unfortunate. I'm not even sure how that happened since there's not much that can move around underneath there, but whatever. This is the updated rules. I actually haven't gone through this yet to see if there's anything that's changed from the original or from the last rule book, which I think was the Battle for the Underdark. So I'll probably take a look at that at some point just to see if there's anything different. This right here is the scenario booklet, and again, another issue that everybody knows about is the incorrect usage of parts here. So you see we've got like one of these rock hexes, 7 rock hexes, but then it calls for 4 grass ones, and there's only 3 in the set. So they did release an updated version of this PDF on the website for this BattleBox webpage. The one thing with that is that it still calls for 7 single hexes in this map. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a 7th right there. I think that this one is the phantom one that shouldn't be in there, but they haven't updated that yet. So again, this is a little embarrassing that this went out like this because the contents at the front are correct. So at some point when they were updating this booklet, they had the correct numbers that they were going to put into the set, and they just didn't reference that against what they had in the build directions. Pretty sloppy. I mean, there's no way around that. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think that's everything. All right, so that's Battle for the Wellspring. I really like this set. I think this is a good entry point for $45. Even the painted one for $65 feels worth it. The paintings on these are worth the price, considering how much it would cost to go commission somebody else or how long it would take you to paint these yourself. in my opinion, it is worth the $20 upcharge to just be able to put these on the battlefield and look exactly like your old Heroscape right out of the box. So, all right, let's take a look at the master set next. So here is the premium painted edition 20th anniversary Heroscape master set for Age of Annihilation. This box is huge, so it's about the same dimensions, length and width wise of the original Rise of the Valkyrie Swarm of the Morrow, but the thickness is like almost double. So this thing is, it feels really big. We'll take a look at the contents inside and see what we think about it. And of course, we'll be taking a look at that paint job as well. So on the top, we've got some of the bears. Some more art on the side. Here's what we've got on the back. Try to hold it here for a second. Let's see if we can read what this says. So it's got the components, 9 exciting scenarios, 4 brand new battlefield designs, fully compatible with all Heroscape master sets and expansions. So this also has a tab on the right side here. We'll try to carefully cut that open. Okay, it opens pretty easily. And this painted edition retails for $225 from Renegade, and then the unpainted is $125, so you're paying about $5 per miniature to get these painted. So roughly the same as the Wellspring box, a little bit more expensive, and I think that's because you get the big ones like Raylan and the Dragon, Xenothrax. So let's see, one of the cool things that they did here is that they did actually include the flip up front of the box here like they did on the old ones. So it shows the layout of one of the battlefields with all the miniatures there, shows the cards, shows the accessories. It's a little weird that they have this because it's shrink wrapped, so like you're not going to see this until you've purchased and opened this, but this kind of display thing is more for like a store advertisement. That I remember, you know, with Rise of the Valkyrie, I would walk by and I would flip this up in the store to take a look at what was inside, and I was blown away by seeing something like this on a store shelf. So it's a little funny that they put that behind shrink wrap. So, you know, whatever, but it's cool that they at least did it because it does look nice. So we'll go ahead and open this on the side here. There we go. So it's got a tab on this side here to be able to pull it out, which is nice. So this thing is huge, like I was saying. It does feel like it's a little more spaced out, like there's some dead space in here that Rise of the Valkyrie didn't have. Rise of the Valkyrie was really compact with its packaging. And maybe even too compact because it's kind of hard to store everything back in the box. This one, there's plenty of space once you get all this packaging material out to be able to store and transport the whole master set in here, which is good. You can even leave Xenothrax assembled, which is awesome. So here's the dice. Like I was saying, we have 8 here. I don't think it would have killed them to give us 12, but whatever. I think you'll be able to make do with 8. More of the order markers. A little disappointing that this one also only has 2 sets of order markers, because a master set generally has enough for, you know, 4 players like Swarm of the Morrow did, Rise of the Valkyrie did. So something of this size I would expect to have 4 player support. Then we've got a bunch more glyphs, a bunch more markers and wound markers and stuff like that, just standard accessories. So now let's take a look at our painted miniatures. The thing I'm most worried about here is Raylan and Xenothrax's base, because they're the most prone to warping, since they're such large bases and the figures themselves are so large. So first we'll take a look at Knight Oberon, or Irene, I think is what they renamed her. And I really don't like that pun, but... So this one, again, I mean, this is a pretty big figure. This is a beefy figure here. I think the painting looks good. Probably want to highlight it there better. There we go. Yeah, I mean, the painting looks good here. This definitely looks on par with classic Heroscape. So maybe I'm just lucky here in that my paint jobs look good to me, or maybe, you know, people have their own opinions about what's acceptable for the price. But in my opinion, I'm totally okay fielding something like that. So then we see the I forget their names, but the polar bears that go with Irene. We'll take a look at a couple at a time. So people were also complaining about these being too dark with their fur. I mean, polar bears can't have really dark and muddy and dirty fur. I think that this looks cool. They look pretty like battle hardened in this. So their gear looks cool. Their stances look cool. I really like these guys. I don't, take much issue with them. Again, paint jobs look fine to me, so. Yeah, I saw some close-ups that were like pretty sloppy for these guys, and maybe again I just got lucky, but these look real nice. Here are the other two. I'm trying to look at them not through the viewfinder just so I can actually see them in real life, make my evaluation that way, since sometimes you lose the detail. The back looks a little flat with some of the metallic shading on this, but again, I don't think it's a deal breaker or anything. Looks totally fine on the battlefield. Then we've got the knaves of the Silver Scimitar, I believe, the little pirate guys. Wait, I might be mixing that up. This is two squads, and I can't remember which one's which. So you've got the green pirates, which are these ones. Okay, I had to pause for a second to make sure I wasn't messing myself up. So I got confused because this guy is also painted green, but he is one of the knaves of the Silver Scimitar. The rest of these are the exiles of the Sundered Sea. So this is the pirate faction. You've got a squad of 4 here. Again, these guys look really cool. No complaints here. So, again, I can't speak to everybody else's experience, but for my experience, I'm very happy with the quality on display here for the price. You could always do a nicer paint job than this and spend hours doing that, and if that's what you enjoy doing, more power to you. Save a lot of money that way. For me personally, just since Original Scape was all pre-painted, I prefer to just have that, fresh out the factory, painted this way. You take what you get and you put it on the battlefield and you're good to go. So that's just how I prefer it. This one might be the only one that I would say is a little sloppy around the face there. You can kind of see. But again, with Heroscape, even original Heroscape, a lot of times they wouldn't have any detailing on the face. They would just be a single color. If that, if you're getting like eye touch-ups on there, it's pretty rare. And a lot of times I think like in this case it can kind of hurt it because you just have to get such a small brush in there to do a tiny little dot for eyes, and sometimes if it messes up at all, it really hurts the look of the figure. But again, when you're playing it that far away on the table, you're not going to care. So alright, so Knaves of the Silver Scimitar. This guy's looking pretty wild. He's got his gas mask there. Again, good painting around the mask and up into his face, even the detailing like on his bands, and he's got like the black bands, the red bands on his green skin, like pretty good paint separation in my opinion. So even on his legs here, you've got the separation. Oh, losing focus. Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. There's this one. Wow, that looks great. Yeah, the goggles are defined. Skin color looks good. Hair looks good. I feel like I should be not giving them this much praise, but like these, I mean, I'm totally satisfied with these. This was another one that I saw somebody take a close-up picture of. This guy right here. I mean, you can see what it is. You can see it's goggles. You can see he's got a mohawk. Got something on his face there. I think they're supposed to be teeth. Like, again, it doesn't really matter that much. It's not like when you're playing this, you're holding them right here, like, looking at them like that. So, I am not too picky about the paint jobs, if you couldn't tell. Looks good. So far, all the bases have been good, too. Sometimes you can get these warped, but these, I mean, these are really nice, so good stuff there. Electronic Gem. This is another one that people were talking about how his arms aren't painted a metallic color, and I agree, it doesn't look like they are. I think that's just the color that his plastic was cast in, and his face is metallic and his chest plate is metallic and his armor up around here is metallic. It definitely would have been nice if they had painted his arms metallic, especially because his guns aren't painted either. It does look like they had a wash over them, so they're not completely flat, but they could use some help. I really love this metallic, like, deep purplish pink. That's a cool color on his cloak there. But yeah, this one I would definitely agree could use some help on the arms and the guns there, just to kind of, bring them up to quality, the other ones. But, again, I'm not going to complain too much. And maybe I'll touch that up later. So here we've got Rakshot, who knows. This one is probably the most warp base, but again, that's really not bad. Let's see if he sits straight. Yeah, he sits fine. Good looking figure. Good looking paint. Yeah, look at that spine there. So I must be lucky, because some people I've seen had some pretty sloppy paint jobs, but that looks great. I can't remember. One of these is Miseric's. I think it's the other one. But the two, Kyrie, I'm pretty sure they're Kyrie. Hold on. So this one is Miseric's, I was right. The other one is, yeah, Loviatek. I should have known. I literally play these. Okay, so let's see. This one right here, again, I would say that the armor looks a little flat. There's not much detailing going on. I mean, I think if you made this, like, whatever the central piece here, a little bit darker, would look cool. It does look like it's shinier on the back than the rest of the wash on the legs there. The blade being gold looks cool. The red wings and the black hair, red face. I think overall this is good, though. I like that. Miseric's, great painting there. I mean, look at all that, like all these little lines here across there, even leading up to like the chest plate and the face, the headdress around the face. I mean, even the eye dots there painted red properly. This is great. Wow, even all the way down the back. You got some great like shading here. It looks like they probably started out with a dark color and then just like brushed on some lighter highlights there. That looks great. Same thing around the wings. You've got these deep washes on the recesses with some lighter reds there. This one's one of the best. That's really good. Got our dwarf friend here. Very excited to try him out with some, some of the axe grinders. See if he synergizes well with them. This one's a little sloppy. Like, I don't know what's going on around there. It looks like there's some red bleeding through. He might be cast in red, and maybe there just wasn't a thick enough coat there. I mean, you could just chalk that up to looking like dirt. Same thing with up on his upper torso here. Not quite sure. Overall, again, detailing is fine. You got some nice detailing with the silver paint here and the red. Even his goggles there, the bandana, the beard. It's all looking good. All right, on to the big stuff. So we've got Xenothrax's wings here. These are pretty simple paint. The only thing that you've got going on here is this gold color on the torso area where it connects. The rest of it is like this deep purple, but it does seem to have somewhat of a wash. Pretty light wash if it does, but there's a little bit of texture to that. That could probably use a little bit more. Just for how big the figure is, like these catch the light more, and so you're going to be able to see if it doesn't have a nice deep wash on it like some of the earlier Heroscape does. Heroscape was very like known for that kind of look. So here is the figure itself. All right, not too bad on the base there. And I might, do the hot water trick, the boiling water into an ice bath trick. I did notice on my other one I could kind of just do this a little bit. And then when it settles back down, it kind of settles a little bit more in the middle there. That helped me out the first time to prevent him, because when I first got my other one, it was pretty bad about toppling over, but as soon as I kind of spent some time reforming it like that, it ended up holding pretty well. Overall, this one looks a lot better than some of the ones I've seen, so let's put these wings on. So I do still see a gap on this one, like I did on the other one. That is a bit of a bummer. Doesn't ruin it for me, but I do wish that, it fit a little bit better. I don't want to have to heat that up to kind of form it down, but let's see if the figure stands. Yeah, he's looking great. Pretty happy with that one. That could definitely have come out a lot worse. Paint job on this guy. Again, this one's a pretty simple paint job, and I don't really blame him because it's such a huge figure. I mean, painting something this size and giving it more detailing than this would definitely cost a fortune. So it does have enough color variance to be an interesting figure all over. I don't really like this yellowish, deep orange, goldish color. It just kind of all blends together too much for me. The purple is a nice accent. I do wish there was some more like that, like a better color that pops, but overall that's a good looking figure. And then Raylan, let's see the base on this one. Oh, that's even better than my other one. That one's great. And the paint job, this is good. This it looks lighter on camera than it is in person. This is a darker hue than it's appearing here. I think that's just because of the warm lighting that I'm in. Painting on Raylan looks good. Yeah, you can make the face out there, the armor, the helmet, the hair, the medallion on her. Yeah, I like that. All right, so that's all the figures. Cool. So overall, I'm very happy with the condition of that paint on pretty much all these. Like, again, Electronic Jim, I would touch him up. Some of them could use a little bit of, touch-ups here and there, but overall, this is very good for the price, in my opinion. And then looking at the actual box, what we have in here. So we've got 20 sparkly water tiles. I'm going to try to get these out all at once, but we'll see how, yep, didn't really go that well. But again, I don't have to worry about these breaking because they've got that nice rubberiness to them. Those look great. Just as good as they looked in the Wellspring. And you get 20 of them, so can't complain about that. We've got our single hexes up here. Looks like this is all green. Making a mess here. I don't really need to comment on these. I'm fairly confident that these are exactly the same mold as the original ones. They work just fine. So I can get these other ones out. It is weird that these are so tightly packed in here. So these are the sand and rock ones. There we go. And then we've got the 3 hexes. There's only 4 3 hexes in this entire set, which is a little weird coming from Rise of the Valkyrie. Then we've got our 2 hexes. These all look great as well. Dropping them. Yep. No complaints there. Then we've got our wall pieces, so I'll set this down. Take a look at them. These are really good. They're nice and heavy, so they've got a good weight to them. They do also have that good detailing on the inside where they've got some wear. The only thing I don't like is this right here, and a lot of people are speculating that in future waves they're going to make ones that stack on top of these, like Avalon Hill was advertising for their initial release. That would be good because these aren't as ugly as the uncapped fortress walls from earlier sets, but I'm not a huge fan of those. They are helped out plenty by these wall pieces though. So if we take a look at these right here, again, these are super heavy, they feel high quality, they've got a nice wash to them, they've got some nice wear looking in there. You've got these small wall sections, you've got these broken edge pieces, and then you've got this one large piece. I really do wish we got more of this because the one for Avalon Hill was advertising 11 of these or 10 and some doorways or something like that. I do think, and I'm hopeful that when we get the the walls expansion pack, that we'll get a bunch more of this, maybe some doorways, some stackable walls, stuff like that. I think you could really improve on this system. The other thing is that they're very simple to connect, so these just slot right in here. They hold really well. Then all you have to do is set them on the map, and then you slide these in here. And there you go. That's all there is to it. The only downside to these is that they didn't put anything at the bottom. And you know what? I've actually got these wrong. So they didn't put anything at the bottom here to prevent this from swinging. And it would have been real easy to just put like little slots jutting out here on either edge so that this can't rotate back and forth from the bottom, because then it would be locked in on both dimensions. But oh well, I mean, I guess you're not going to be knocking into them very much during play. Here we have the rule book and the scenario book. The scenario book has the same issue that the Wellspring one did, where it calls for the wrong quantities of materials versus what's actually included in the master set. Again, very disappointing, very embarrassing. I wish they had caught that before this went to print. They did also, of course, update this on the website so you can get the corrected version there. But you really shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to play this perfectly fine just out of the box, just like you could with the original Rise of the Valkyrie. Any of the other ones, they weren't that sloppy with sending this stuff to print. So I'm pretty sure that in future revisions that'll be fixed. Like, they'll start printing the new PDF now, and hopefully in the future, if you get one of these, it'll be fixed. We've got our cards here. Again, they look great in my opinion. Or not great, but they're totally serviceable. Yeah. We've got our new General Revna. Pretty cool looking cards. So yeah, that's the cards. And then the last thing in here, I believe, is the 7 hexes. Yep. There we go. Nothing new to say about those. And then the 24 hexes. So let's take one last look at some fresh 24 hexes. And that's where we'll call it. So take a look at the bottom here. Mainly looking at this edge. Yeah, it's just so sloppy compared to like the original mold here, so look at how sharp the notches there are. Wow, it's really not focusing. So if you see like that right there compared to that one's so rounded and too thick, and this inside edge here is originally very thin. It's like the same thickness all the way around pretty much. I mean, it's a little bit thinner, but not enough. Yeah, this mold does need some help. That's why I think it's a mold issue, because you can see the original mold here and the notches look great. So we'll connect these once more. It feels horrible. And yep, it seems that same spot. So the consistency that I'm seeing this across all 24 hexes tells me that this, yep, needs some help. Like right along the edge here and there and here and here. So, yep, nothing I haven't said before. But that's what you get in the master set. In my opinion, this is still worth it for the cost of producing something with this much plastic, this many miniatures, this much painting, this much, you know, extra stuff like the sparkly water, the ruins here, all the accessories that are high quality. You know, a lot of board games just do like a cardboard that's folded up and put away, and then like cut out, punch out cardboard stuff. So you get like full plastic glyphs, full plastic order markers, wound markers, dice that are like nice, just high quality stuff in general here. Feels very worth it for $225 and even $125. I think this is a worthwhile deal. So just need them to fix that. So that's all for the master set. That's the only thing they need to fix in my opinion. Other than that, thank you for watching.